San Francisco 49ers top draft pick wide receiver was shot in the chest. When will he be able to return to play football? This is Dr. David Chow, Sports Injury Central. Out of complete respect for Ricky Pearsall, very unfortunate incident, and to his family, we did not make this video or speculate on his return until he's out of the hospital, no surgical procedures, and resting at home. Thankfully, his life is not in danger. Bigger things in life, huge thing in broad daylight in San Francisco. But now that he is out of the hospital, we can talk about football and his potential return. Clearly, he was shot in the middle of the chest. His mom put out on social media that it was very lucky, very thankful to God, and that's very true. And she said it missed, quote, vital organs. Well, from where he was shot in the middle of the chest, it certainly did not miss his lungs, which is a vital organ. But thankfully, we have the left side lung and right side lung, and players can have even finished games before with one lung functioning. So it was amazing to see Ricky Pearsall holding his chest with help, walking to the ambulance. I think it was interesting that he was allowed to walk, but because he was able to walk, obviously as tough as can be, but because he at least had full function of another lung, his left side. The right side lung was undoubtedly damaged, punctured. It was said to be a through and through wound where the bullet exited, no surgery. Even if the bullet fragment were retained, usually it's not surgery. You don't have to remove the fragment. Very, very lucky. Shot in the chest. If this were the left side, it may have hit his heart, which would be horrific. But even on the right side, it missed major vessels, the pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, etc. But it certainly punctured the lung. His early departure from the hospital would indicate the air leak in the lung seemed to be relatively small. It certainly could have and likely hit some ribs, but the rib bones thankfully heal easily. Obviously, muscles are damaged too. You have to look at the whole thing. Muscles, intrinsic muscles, oblique muscles, core muscles. But thankfully, no surgery and out of the hospital. Well, so what does it mean now? Look, he's gonna obviously miss time. The good news is he will return to play this year. The bad news is he's gonna miss a significant amount of time. Be great if he only missed part of the first half of the season. Would expect him to return for the second half of the season. 6 weeks, I think, would be a great return for him. Here's why. He's going to need time to recover from the lungs, the ribs, the muscles, but he's also going to not really be able to work out, and he's going to have to play himself back into shape, work out back into shape. So 6 weeks would be a nice, optimistic return. The great news is, of course, he's alive. He survived this. This certainly was a life-threatening incident, and really glad that football is in the conversation now and that we can talk about football now that he's out of the hospital, etc. One note on Ricky Pearsall, he's got a subluxing shoulder. That's happened a couple times in college and early season. At Sports Injury Central, we've been talking about how hard it is for a wide receiver to play through a subluxing shoulder. What does that mean? The ball and socket joint, it slips out of the socket. It doesn't necessarily mean there's a labral tear. It could be stretched capsule. But the bottom line is very hard to manage for a wide receiver. If you're playing another position, you see all these NFL players playing with a harness and then get surgery at the end of the season. Very hard to play wide receiver with a harness because it restricts your catch radius. Expect Ricky Pearsall to play again this year. Hopefully he can avoid re-aggravation of the shoulder issue, but that is something that will hamper his rookie season. But the good news is that's easily fixable in the offseason, and the good news is he's alive and well and will return to football. Thank God for good luck on this case, as his mom indicated. Let's see Ricky Pearsall back this year, avoid shoulder issues. Hopefully we'll see him 6 weeks into the season or so. Go to Sports Injury Central, sicscore.com for all the latest.